everyone, welcome to the Clueless Sports Dad podcast, your go-to source for all things sports, minus the expertise. Get ready to embrace your inner cluelessness and join us on this wild sports journey. Let the cluelessness begin.
Welcome everyone, I'm your host Eric. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment down below. We have a special guest for you today from Mississippi State football, offensive lineman, Albert Reese IV. Welcome in, Albert.
Thanks for having me.
All right, so I've got a lot to talk to you today about, some questions. First thing I want to go over is this schedule that you guys are on. Looking at it, you guys got 8 home games this season versus only 4 away games. And 2 games that really stand out in my mind are you're hosting LSU and you're also hosting Alabama. Now, for LSU, I just did another segment last week about their potential Heisman quarterback, Jaden Daniels. And Alabama, they don't even know who's still the quarterback yet over there. So I think both of these matchups are going to be great for you guys at Mississippi State football. What are your impressions about those 2 games and the rest of your schedule?
Well, I agree. Those 2 games are arguably going to be the toughest that we have to play this year. So that part's really exciting. But, we also have, we're going to South Carolina, I think, for the first time in at least a while, if not ever. I'm not sure the history behind that, but that'll be a cool matchup too. So this is a very unique season, I find.
Yeah, that South Carolina game you're talking about is actually between those 2 games. And I saw that on the schedule, so that's going to be a fun one. For me, I'm really leaning towards trying to make it out to that Alabama game. I want to see you play against them. I'm excited to come to Starkville. That'll be my first time ever there. So explain to me a little bit about the atmosphere there for a home game, especially like one of these big-time SEC type games that you guys play.
Oh, it's unreal. Like, I remember, like, we had a fair amount of home games last year in a row. So it was like Texas A&M and Arkansas specifically. Like, because we did really well both of those games. We won them and by a long shot too. And that crowd was just absolutely unreal. Like, it might have even been a sold out game if I remember correctly. So it's something else once you get a good matchup.
Now, when you guys first arrive and you guys are all dressed out, you're decked out and you're to the nines, and you guys are walking down when you get to the stadium or wherever you guys are going to get dressed at, what's that feeling like with all those fans when you're walking through them?
It's like up there with the most exciting part of the day besides actually playing and being in the stadium, but it is unreal. The dog walk, they call it. Just like walking for what feels like a mile through fans, just giving high fives and walking to the stadium. It's great.
That's amazing. All right, well, now we're going to go ahead and we're going to talk a little bit about your early life and you explaining a little bit about some of the things we have questions about from your past and stuff like that. So when did you first know you loved football?
Oh, going way back, huh? I'd say so I started playing when I was about 13. So, but back then, like, I'll be honest, I didn't know how far I wanted to go in the sport. Like, I just wanted something to do during the summers. I didn't want to have so much time on my hands. And I also wanted to try a contact sport because I had never done so before. And then it wasn't until about the second year after that I actually decided, hey, I could actually go pretty far in this if I really wanted to. So I looked to do everything in my power to participate in, different provincial team events. Being as I'm from Canada, it's kind of like state camps and stuff, but it's whatever they have up there. So it wasn't until then that I actually decided I want to be serious about this and really bring my playing to the next level. So I'd say about my 3rd year in.
That's amazing. So what was your first sport you ever played?
I think it was soccer way back in the day. Yeah.
Couldn't have been 6'7", 230 back then or so, 220 back then,
yeah,
or 320 back then. I couldn't imagine that. Okay,
Yeah,
so what's your favorite childhood memory when it comes to playing sports?
playing sports.
Yeah, is there anything that really stands out to you?
Um, I mean, from what I can remember as of right now, I'd say my first year playing football because we went undefeated and we won like the title, the provincial title, which was like my first professional like sports, or not professional, but like my first actual season, because I only played like small game club soccer back in the day. I wasn't on an actual team who like competed a bunch. So I'd say my first year of football.
Oh, that's amazing. Oh, when did you know you wanted to leave Canada for the United States to play football?
Well, when I was about 15, again, I think it was like about my third season in, I I definitely wanted to play in the United States on the college level. So, but like I didn't know anything about it, and I didn't know about like prep school and all that. So I was just kind of coasting along through Canada, playing out my high school career in Canada, and hopefully picking up a few Division 1 offers.
Okay, that's awesome. So what drew you to the game of football, and did anybody inspire you to play the game?
Contact, to be completely honest, that's what really mainly what drew me. Because, like I said, when I used to play soccer, I'd have a bad habit of running people over completely by accident because it's not a part of that game. So all my like companions who I played with would always get mad. Obviously, I get like penalized and stuff. So I'm like, well, why not try out a sport where that's encouraged? Because I've always like wrestling with my friends and playing, I don't know, whatever kind of like semi-contact games at recess. So I've just always been a physical dude who wanted to like use my God-given size to my advantage. So
Yeah,
that's kind of
absolutely.
it.
At what point, when you were down here playing the United States, at what point did you feel that you were ready to play Division 1 football?
I'd say my last year of high school, the one I spent at Clearwater,
Okay.
because I learned how seriously America takes the sport because we played such good teams, and I was around so many people that were also driven like I was. So around that time.
Awesome. So the big question for me is why Mississippi State? What drew you to them over all the other colleges in the United States?
Well, I respect the competition they play. Like the SEC is loaded with great teams, loaded with talent. So it forces you to have a high standard for yourself in terms of how hard you work and how hard you're willing to play, because that's the only way you win. So I like that idea of the highest level and how it forces you to be a version of yourself that you'd normally not be otherwise.
So, Albert, walk me through your first arriving at Mississippi State. What did that feel like? What exactly was the process? All that good stuff.
I'll be honest, it was pretty intimidating because I knew like the transition from high school to college would be great and like huge, especially in terms of like how hard you're pushed and how hard you're coached. So it was overwhelming at first, but I knew I did know what I was getting myself into. So at the same time, I was prepared for it. It was just the adjusting part that was hard, but it was good otherwise.
Perfect. So, what's your daily routine like in the off season versus the in season? Is there like a huge difference? Just kind of walk me through gym, football, schooling, all of that stuff there at the school.
Well, you definitely off season have more time away from football because you're not meeting, you're not practicing for hours, you're not you might not be recovering as much, all that stuff. But also yeah, like we're like besides spring football, which is like I want to say a little less than half of the duration of spring, we're not playing football. We're just working out. So we're not like doing meetings. We're not always doing walkthroughs. We're not even with our coaches, like our position coaches a ton. But you look at the season, like in season, and that's obviously the opposite. You know, you're practicing, meeting, walkthroughs. You're always around the coaches, and it eats up most of your day. So the time wise and like what you're doing are the major differences.
Got you. Got you. So how was that experience when you first got in your very first game in Mississippi State? You remember that feeling?
I do. I don't think I'll ever forget that.
What was that feeling like?
Oh, first of all, I couldn't hear anything because of all the fans and cowbells, because I'd never played or been near a crowd like that before. So that was pretty disorientating at first. It was awesome.
So is there anything you wish you knew before getting to Mississippi State? Is there anything that would have helped better prepare you?
It's a tough one.
Whether it be schooling, football, anything like that?
Um, I guess I wish I knew that. I guess I wish I was better prepared for any changes, like major staff changes, major like player personnel changes, because college is filled with transfers and sometimes like staff changes. So I actually wasn't prepared for that, surprisingly. So I didn't know like how often it happened.
Yeah, and you guys have had some big name people go into the NFL draft last year too.
Mm-hmm.
So they say the corner that you guys had is one of the top prospects coming into this year. So that a lot of people are talking about him being possible candidate for defensive rookie of the year. So that'll be interesting to watch him as well.
Yeah, it will be.
If you could play any other position in football, what would that position be, regardless of your size of anything else or anything like that? What position would you like to play?
The defensive line for sure.
Oh yeah, defensive end or defensive tackle, inside, outside?
Honestly, it doesn't really matter. I just like D line in general. So I played a bit in high school, and I always loved when I made a tackle. So,
coaching linebackers myself, a lot of the big guys, especially the defensive linemen, they love it when you throw them out of linebacker and let them get a running head start on a blitz.
Yeah, they would love that.
So that's always a fun one. So that's great. Okay, so Albert, what do you believe one of your weaknesses are, and what have you been working on to really improve and achieve a better overall understanding of the game?
I'd say my weaknesses are probably like flexibility. Like if we're talking physical stature, that's definitely something that I've had to work on since I got here.
Okay. What kind of stuff have you been really working on to do that, to change that around?
Well, whenever I definitely try to stretch every night, like do that, various kind of exercises towards that. Using like proper full range of motion whenever we're working out, and even like recovery just to get out soreness helps, because the more sore you are, the less your body's willing to bend, right? Because it's going to be painful. So just taking care of the body, like doing the extra stuff outside of actually working out, is a big factor.
Do you guys have any kind of yoga programs and stuff like that you attend?
We did last year. We don't really this year, but like there's always like stretches you could do that are like printed out and posted on the wall of the training room that are, they list whatever it works on, like hip, shoulder, all that.
That's good stuff. So this is going to be a great one for me. With you being a Cowboy fan, how would you feel if you were drafted by a rival, say the Giants or the Eagles?
It would actually be quite funny because before I got to college, I'd be watching Cowboy games, and I'd be watching the ones where they play those rival teams. I'd be like cheering Cowboys on so much, and like looking so down upon the other teams that it would be kind of funny that I ended up on one of the other ones playing against my favorite team.
Yeah, absolutely. That'd be something else, that's for sure.
Yep.
So what's your goals for life after football?
I don't want to fall into the pit that so many athletes do when they're done with sports, where they could go years even like not doing anything, not knowing what to do. So I definitely want to like have a good plan and actually like build another career that took up almost as much time as football. That's not football, where I could also, just similar to sports, just keep building and progressing over the years and just learning about how to improve it, whatever career choice I choose.
What kind of degree program are you in right now?
Business administration.
Oh, okay. So is there any kind of business that you have in mind that you would gear towards?
I want to own something myself. Like I'd like to own my own business. So I got that, like I'm getting this degree because it's a business degree. It opens a wide range of doors, like nothing specifically. So
Okay.
I came into college not knowing exactly what I wanted to do. So I wanted something that would give me a lot of options to, help build myself down the road, give me something to have.
Okay. If you could be remembered for one thing, what would it be?
That's a good one.
Like, what do you want your stamp to be at your school right now when you leave?
I'd say the hardest worker.
Okay, that's a good one. Hey, everyone, I just want to say thank you, Albert, for coming in. Again, it's Mississippi State football offensive lineman, Albert Reese IV. Thanks again, Albert, for joining us today.
No problem. It was fun. Thank you for having me.
All right. Till next time, guys.
Thanks, everyone, for listening to this episode of Clueless Sports Dad podcast. Tune in for more episodes by following us and subscribing. And don't forget to hit that like button.